Hey guys, so today we will be looking at the exchange rate. There are four parts in this presentation. A nominal exchange rate versus real exchange rate. Advantages of using real exchange rate and supply and demand model for exchange rate. And in the last, we will be looking at an example of how event can affect the supply and demand of exchange rate. So in the first, let's think about what is a nominal exchange rate. So basically, the nominal exchange rate is the price of one country's currency in terms of another currency. As we all know, people have to buy different currency to finish the transaction in different countries. You can now just buy iPhone in the United States by using the Canadian dollars, right? You have to buy US dollars first and use the US dollars to finish the transaction. But you don't really know if the iPhone in United States is cheaper compared with the iPhone in Canada, or it will be more expensive. So we will be using real exchange rate to calculate that. So the real exchange rate is the amount of foreign goods or person obtain in exchange for one domestic goods. So the real exchange rate can tell us if we are better off or worse off if we are traveling to another countries and buy some iPhones or MacBooks. So it is by using the CPI or GDP deflator or the formula below. So the small case E represent the real exchange rate, the uppercase E represent the nominal exchange rate, and the P represent the price index. So here's an example. If a bottle of wine sells for $20 in Canada and 15 euros in France, and the nominal exchange rate is $1.4 per euro, what would be the real exchange rate? We can just simply plug all the numbers into this formula, and we got 15 euro over $20 and times 1.4, which is a nominal exchange rate, and we got 1.05, which is a real exchange rate. So what are the advantages of using real exchange rate? So by using real exchange rate, we can know that what things really cost. Suppose that you want to travel to another country, let's say United States, and you want to buy a meal which is a McDonald's or Burger King, and you want to know if the same combo in United States is cheaper or more expensive. You can use real exchange rate to calculate that. Um, and also, if you want to buy some luxury goods and buy some other stuff, you can also get the result by using the real exchange rate. And we can also know that if the nominal exchange rate is overvalued or undervalued. So here's a graph of the supply and demand model of exchange rate. So in terms of the demand curve, the demand for currency is driven by foreign demand for that country's goods and service or capital. A lower currency makes a country's goods and capital more attractive since they are cheaper for foreigners to purchase. In terms of the supply curve, the supply for currency is driven by domestic demand for foreign goods and capital. A high currency makes a foreign goods and capital more attractive. So one thing we need to pay attention is that, let's say there's a one bond in Canada, and the attractive capital will not only attract the foreigners to invest on it, but will also attract the domestic investors. So the Canadian investors will also sell less Canadian dollars, and they want to hold more Canadian dollars, and it will impact the supply curve. So here's an example. Let's say there's a bond in Canada and the liquidity increased in recent months. So by so what do you mean? So what I mean by liquidity increase? It means that it will be easier to convert those capital assets, securities into cash, which means that it will be more attractive. So in this case, the foreigner investors and foreigner people they will want to buy more Canadian dollars and invest or buy these bonds. So the demand curve will shift to the right. But also at the same time, the Canadians will also want to hold more Canadian dollars to buy this bond, and they will sell less Canadian dollars, and eventually it will impact the supply curve shift to the left. And this is the example of how this event can affect the supply and demand curve.